It's Thursday once again, folks, and it's also August 8/2, 2018. We're here with episode 95 of Comic Conversation. I'm joined, of course, by most of the panel. We got Chris and Edwin here. Justin is out, laid up on medical leave, let's say, from the show. But not to fear, we still have a great show for you and some really great topics. You know, Robert Manning is here in the live chat here on YouTube, and he's saying, how can Carrie return? So we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 9. The cast was announced. Some interesting people are on there that are returning, not just with the cast, but some other folks. We'll get to that later on. So movies are coming back into theaters that we didn't think that we'd ever see again, and some other really interesting things around you know, some movies coming out with, you know, the DC animated universe. I know that Edwin read a book. We got some Sony stuff to talk about, not only with Venom, which has the new trailer, but the potential for something else coming out as well, which we've known about, but it sounds like we have a director for that now. So that's pretty cool. And lots of great other stuff too. So pretty good show for you today. I'm excited to get into it. But before we get into our updates, let me go ahead and give some shout outs in the chat room here. I do want to say, if you are here anywhere else, iTunes, SoundCloud, you know, any of our other platforms, head on over to YouTube and you'll be able to join us exclusively live on Thursday nights, jlscomics channel. But if you hear me saying names or live chat, that's where that is. So come join us there. Anyways, I shouted out Robert Manning. I see Jason Smith. Scotty's here as well. He's ready for some comic talk tonight. Absolutely good, sir. Jackio says, hey, back right at you. And Miss Hustle's here as well. I see NES Master 80. And Jeff Johnson is surprised that Edwin's reading the books, not just pressing them and slapping them, I guess. So he reads them too, like we all do. And I see, yeah, he's there. TJ, I see TJ, Poor Man's Comics. So everybody's rolling in. So really cool. And while that's all happening, let's go ahead. Oh, Legend Storm's here too. Let's go ahead and Joker M21. I can't keep up, guys. Let's go ahead and do some updates on what you guys have been up to for the week. And we will start with Boston Chris Comics. Chris, how you doing?
All right. Well, first and foremost, cooling off because it is hot. My God, was it hot up here today? Oh,
yeah.
But
it's a hot time in Beantown tonight.
It was very, very, like, I think we hit 96 today.
Oh wow!
So
hotter than here in South Florida.
Yep. So you know we're baking up here, but
yeah.
Yeah, and just for me, you know, been pretty busy. Had a bunch of stuff going on this weekend. You know, I just actually put up my video just now for my haul. And so that's on my channel. But, you know, just getting ready for a lot. Like this weekend's going to be crazy coming up. You know, it's my sister-in-law's birthday tomorrow. And then Saturday is my wife's cousin's wedding. So there's a lot going on. And then next weekend, I should say. So next Friday is my wife's birthday. And it's Comic-Con. So I have Boston Comic Con all 3 days, plus my wife's birthday on top of it all. So it's just like, man, I'm going to be busy next week. Trying to just, you know, get everything ready for Comic Con, then going to the con and celebrating my wife's birthday all at once. So, you know, it's just, it's like right now is a busy time for me. But, you know, it's fun though, and it's good. And then, you know, just it doesn't slow down, and probably I would say until like September, just because my nephew's birthday was just this past week as well. He was actually, it was yesterday. I should say that. His birthday was yesterday, so we're gonna celebrate that. You know, in style, the following weekend, I think, or 2 weekends from now. So it's just like, it's just real hectic. But you know, that's what makes summertime fun, is all the different parties and different things you get to do. So just having some fun with all of that, and trying to, you know, just keep up with comics and putting things away. And now I had to pull a bunch of stuff out to see what books I'm gonna get signed and everything else. But, you know, I'm looking forward to it because, you know, Boston Comic Con is definitely, you know, the big show that I go to. It's the one big show a year, and the one I look forward to the most. So, you know, definitely excited for that.
Cool. Since you mentioned it, I don't know if you want to wait till later or if you want to share what the guest list looks like.
Oh man, I'll share that for later.
You want to wait till later to share that, or you want to talk about it now? Because the reason I'm asking is you brought it up. So
no, we can close it out with that, because I mean I don't mind talking about it later on. It's not a big deal. It's just right. Like, let's put it this way, it's a very, very fun and loose interpretation of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
It's appropriate that they name it Fan Expo. I'll say that much, and I'll show you guys why later on.
Okay. Let me get rid of that.
Celebrity Con.
Yeah, right. Pop Culture Expo.
Right.
That's what it should be. Most of these should be, but yeah. All right, cool. So we'll talk about that later on. Yeah. Well, how about you, Mr. Strictly, Edwin?
Not a lot. Just pressing books. I got Who That's books should be done tonight. He gave me some books when he was here in Houston a couple weeks ago, finishing up his stuff. And we went to see Ant-Man over the weekend, and it's not in a lot of theaters yet, but the one that we went to, it was still actually pretty full. So we ended up not seeing it because we didn't want to sit in the front row, and we actually saw Incredibles 2 instead, which is actually, I never saw the first Incredibles, but Incredibles 2 was actually pretty good. It was kind of long, but it was still pretty good. But other than that, not a whole lot going on. Oh, Jesse just got off, but I did want to say, if anybody's going to Dragon Con in Atlanta, hit us up, because Justin, Jesse, myself will be there. Boston Chris isn't able to make it, but it's all good. He'll be with us in spirit. But if anybody's going to go to Dragon Con in Atlanta, hit us up, because we're all going to be there for a couple of days, so it'd be cool to meet up with people.
Yeah, absolutely. The more the merrier, right?
Oh yeah.
Wish we could get Chris to come down, but I get
man.
it.
If I didn't drop my money to the mouse, I could probably work something out. But
yeah,
the mouse got me, Mickey.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think at this point in our life, we got to be happy just to be able to go to a con.
Oh yeah,
We're all getting older and junk.
That's true. Yeah.
Having kids and whatnot.
I mean, it'll be fun to be able to share it with my daughter if she wants to, get into that type of stuff. But it's just, I mean,
I want to go to Disney. You don't want to go to Disney. Go to a con.
Right. That literally is like, that's my wife's time. Like, my wife is a Disney holic. Like, so how we love comics, she loves Disney, and she knows all about it. So there will be no, like, what was it, in 3 years when they have like I think it's like either 40th anniversary or something like that of Disney World. We'll be there. Like, what's going? I'm like, yeah. Okay. So in 3 more years, we will be back to see Mickey and all of them celebrate their anniversary and all that jazz.
Let us know how that new Star Wars ride is.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go there. Hopefully next year.
The good thing with that is, they're like people who already been on it and everything. So it's just like, the line will be crazy, because I experienced that with the Toy Story Land this year, and man, those lines. I mean, the rides were awesome, but the lines, 2 hours minimum.
2 hours.
It was nuts.
That's when you gotta go. You get a couple fives and just like go up to people like, "Hey, I'll give you $5. Let me jump in front of you."
Yeah. So. All right, cool. Well, you know what? We'll be doing Dragon Con, and then hopefully next year I'll be able to do the Star Wars Land, and I hope that I can get the fast pass, but I don't have to wait 2 hours. That's the way to do it. Oh
yeah. I mean, the thing was, the fast pass was all done because people I guess people had in anticipation of it, being ready, just snap them all up. Like, so it's just like the way it works is, I guess, if you're going to get a fast pass, if you plan your trip accordingly, you can plan it like 6 months in advance. So there's somebody who already probably went ahead and was like, oh, it's going to be open at this time. There we go. So, we got on everything. We did get on everything, but it was just like, that Slinky Dog ride is awesome. But that one, they wanted to give it was a 2 hour wait. No, like just straight through 2 hours, everything, like all day long. It was crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah. Well, right across the street, they have the Warner Brothers stuff. You ever been there? And Universal.
Universal, not since I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been there since probably. Yeah, it's been a while for me. But that is actually my segue to something that we're going to talk about next. On Collider, they were talking about Jared Stern. He's a screenwriter who did the Lego Batman movie, the Ninjago movie. It was also a Lego movie. He's being tapped by Warner Brothers to do a animated feature film based on the DC SuperPets, so like Crypto and animals like that. He's gonna write and direct the film, and I guess they're kind of like they're pushing that, for the younger kids. We have a lot of the animated, like they just came with Death of Superman and stuff, but that's not necessarily for the younger kids, right? But you had the movie that just came out, Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and that's doing really well. Not massively well in terms of absolute numbers, but they're already into heading towards making a decent profit off of it. It's like $10 million, and I think last time I checked they were up to like $11.5 million for that movie. And it's only been out for not that long. So they're kind of going along with some other stuff that they might like. And so Super Pets is something that they announced. I don't know if, yeah. I just hope, with these things, I do like to watch them regardless. It's still a comic movie or whatever. But if they do the art style, like really weird, like we've been seeing on some things coming out lately, I'll probably skip it.
Hey, Jesse, can you unpresent me? I might have to like pick my nose or something.
There you go.
Thank you.
That?
That's cool.
Was that freaking you out?
Nah, just everybody's, it's cool.
Oh. They're like, take the focus off Edwin.
the Super Pets, if it's done in like a weird way, like I can say, I remember the Teen Titans cartoon, the original one, how they had drawn it and everything, and it looked really cool. And then this one is, I guess, Teen Titans Go is extremely cartoony. It's still funny. It's still a fun show and everything, and it's appropriate. Yeah. It's age appropriate for everybody. I mean, they have a couple of grown up humor in there, but not too much. But the thing is,
did you see the movie?
Huh?
Did you see the movie, or are you just talking about the show?
I've seen the actual show though. I've seen that before. Like I put it on for my daughter and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, like Cartoon Network. Let's see what this is. And I think that I think that in that way though, it's good to have stuff for the kids, just because little kids, especially too, like for that movie. Like, I mean, it's a tough time for it to come out, but had they released that like a month or two earlier when there was really nothing in the theaters to rival it, like, I mean, you have Incredibles versus that. I mean, that's Incredibles going to destroy that, but if there was no other like animated movie in the theater, like people take their kids to that all day.
Yeah.
So I mean, DC, I think is taking more of an approach of a kind of like it's almost like a long episode of a television show. That's what I think, at least by looking at it. But we'll see though. I mean, no one I don't think has done too much with the Super Pets, so it could be fun. I mean, it could be something that little kids will it's just fun to let them sit down for an hour and watch or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But for us, it's probably gonna be like, this is a little bit too young. Can't deal with this.
Yeah, exactly. Like I went to see the Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie, but I don't know. I think that the Super Pets thing might be just a little bit too much for me, meaning too young. So.
But wasn't Teen Titans any good? Because I was actually kind of interested in that.
I did a review on it. It's up on the channel if you want to check it out. It's like, I don't know, 5-6 minutes long, so not that long. But okay. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
Gotcha.
So a little bit more, average. Just some, it's a very basic, obvious plot. We know who the characters are, like who Deathstroke is. They don't call him Deathstroke, but yeah. So him. Because his name, some other things are obvious. Yeah. The coolest part for me, I guess, obviously it's for the kids, but the adults have to go. So they put a lot of stuff in there for adults, like really cool references to comics and stuff. Like it's called Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and they literally go to the movies. It's about how Robin wants to have a superhero movie because all these other, superheroes are getting the movies, but he doesn't, so he wants to legitimize himself. So they actually literally go to the movies. And when they do that, there's like all the posters up and stuff. And you'll see like, I don't know, the one with Superman breaking the Krypton chains.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll see like images like that, or if there's a couple songs, it's not a musical, but there's a couple songs. there's a couple of scenes like, you know, with Robin jumping with the lightning and it looks like, you know, like a Frank Miller cover, you know, so you can pick up on things like that, you know, if you're into comics and stuff. So it's pretty cool. You know, references like that. And there's a really cool cameo. I don't want to say who it is, but there's a cool cameo that you won't expect. And that's cool. There is a mid-credit scene. If you like the old Titan stuff, you'll like the mid-credit scene. That's all I'll say about it. So yeah, that was probably the best part for me, was those like references and like things I could pick out. Like, aha, I know what they did there. You know,
that does sound cool.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, that cameo, you're not going to expect it, and that cameo does show up a couple times. It's not just like a one like. So I'm not going to say who or what it is. You have to see that for yourself.
Yeah,
I'm not going to spoil that. Yeah, Legend says he already heard about the cameo, and the big credit scene is out there. So yeah, I'm not. We don't spoil here. Or if we spoil, we say spoiler first. So.
I know about the cameo. I haven't seen it, but I haven't seen the mid-credit scene either. I haven't seen because they did like post like on Facebook. They post like little snippets here and there. So you know, at the time when the Titans are just talking to other heroes about movies that they have, there's one that's actually pretty funny when they're talking to one of the heroes about it, and it's just like, you know, and it's just like, you know, like I said, it's semi, I guess, adult reference to where it's just like, you know, you're a little, you know, we were around to see it. Little kids that'll go over their heads a little bit, but you know, anyone who's been paying attention to comic book movies and stuff like that will get that and have a good laugh at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's one scene where Robin's like, "Man, you guys are superheroes and you don't have movies." And then Batman's like, Superman's like, "Yeah, I got movies." And then Wonder Woman goes, "It's been a while, but yeah, I got a movie now." And then Robin's like, or not Robin, Green Lantern goes, "Yep, I got a movie. I got a movie too, but we don't like to talk about that."
Yeah, that's what that's the scene I was talking about. Yeah, as far as like, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That's funny stuff, just because it's like, you know, I mean, it's already been made fun of in like Deadpool, and then you know, it's also been, you know, just kind of a running joke for a long time, but now it's just like, you know, even DC is getting a laugh at it, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, and now they're not afraid to like acknowledge or reference the competition, you know. Yep. Like he's like, "Oh, it's Deadpool," and I'm like, "I'm not Deadpool. I came first." So yeah. This is pretty funny. Speaking of animated stuff heading to theaters, they are re-releasing the Transformers movie. So you get to go back and you get to see Optimus Prime die on the silver screen once again.
Get traumatized again.
So
watch Ironhide get blown to shit, and what's it? Ratchet gets No, not Ratchet. It was
Ultra Magnus gets killed, gets blown up,
gets blasted in the chest, and his eyes blow out like a dead toaster. It's good stuff. It'll burn itself into your memory.
Yeah, you get to see him like fade to gray on the on the bed, you know, and everyone's watching him, and he's like, yeah. So that's coming out in December.
For only one day. Wait, December?
It's a month.
It's just one day, right?
Wait.
A 1 day showing.
Let me look it up here. It says the world-renowned animated feature film, The Transformers the Movie, there's two those in it, hit cinema nationwide for a special one-night event on Thursday, September 27th at 7 p.m. local time. This film has been meticulously remastered, restored from the original film elements, and transferred into HD.
Nice.
See,
so there you go.
Here it's showing Thursday, September the 27th. So I'll be seeing it then, because I was too young.
September 27th. I was. They also have something in there. I was confusing. December is when Bumblebee comes out.
Oh,
that's different. So this movie, like you said, one night. It's Thursday, September 27th. Only it's through Fathom Events in collaboration with Hasbro and Shout Factory. It's called. So they're the ones putting it on. You could probably go So like Fathom events or whatever, and get the tickets. Usually those are a bit more expensive than your normal like movie theater tickets. So it could be like a $20 ticket to go see it, but you know,
I'm there though.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, everyone gets to sit there and be like, "Oh, I was too young to see this." I was just the right age to sit there and be traumatized and get, just literally.
You saw it in the
death.
theaters?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It came out in '86. I was
Yeah.
Yep.
either '85 or '86. I was very little, and
86.
I loved the Transformers. And so
Yeah.
I was 4 years old, and we went. It was going to be a great experience, and this and that. Like on the cartoon, I was never afraid of Megatron at all. I was like, oh, Megatron, I know how this is going to go, and that's what happens. And that's what you think. And then that first scene just rips you apart because he just sits there, he just walks in, goes in the ship, die, Autobots, and I'm like,
Yeah.
die. He says that every episode. Next thing you know, Braun stands up, Megatron, and gets shot, and then all of a sudden his back blows out, and I was just like, that's not how that goes. And then you just watch it, and like they get mowed down every 2 seconds.
They all die like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get
And then we're gonna deal with Rodimus for the rest of the movie.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rodimus?
So I was young enough to be able to sit there and watch that, and then I was scared of Megatron after he killed everybody in the ship, and then went down, and then when he's like, Devastator, merge for the kill, and then you see them pulling dead Transformers into another room. I'm like, oh my god. When the G.I. Joe movie
I think that traumatized a lot of kids.
Oh yeah, when the G.I. Joe movie came out not too long after that, I was in a way I was excited. I was like, yeah. But then once it got to the point with the vines, I just died. Once it got, I said this before, once it got Snake Eyes, I just started crying. I was like, they're all gonna die. This is the Transformers all over again. Mama was like, what are you gonna die? I was like, he's the toughest one, and he's the vine got him. They're all dead. I was so sad.
Yeah, man.
And then you get
but it was funny because the movie poster didn't show Megatron, didn't show Optimus, didn't show any of the original Transformers. No. So I don't know. I guess we should have figured it out then, but no.
Right.
Well,
that would have been a clue.
I think they had a couple of Dinobots on there, and then you had Ultra Magnus, who had been in the show a bunch. Like Rodimus was brand new. Rodimus and was it who was the green helicopter? I always mess up his name.
Spree.
No. Like Blur was on there. Cup you had seen a few times. You had seen a bunch of people, but they were they were pretty new. And Ultra Magnus had been around for a little bit, but all the originals, the only original that really made it through was
Springer. Springer, I think. My bad.
Springer. Springer. The only one that really made it through was Bumblebee. But being a little kid, you don't think about it, but it's just as an adult, had we been this age watching it, at that point, we'd be like, oh, this ain't a good sign. Where's Optimus? Where's all these other guys? I don't see anybody I know, And then you see Rodimus with a trailer on. I'm like, that should have been enough for everybody to know what's going on.
And I know Jesse doesn't want to turn this into a Transformer show, but that film created such a cult following, kind of like The Crow and just other small films that really didn't have the impact until maybe a few years later.
Well, yeah, because the thing was a lot of kids. See, the thing is, when I was young, all the kids that grew up around my age, you get older and it's like, oh, DVD, because DVDs were kind of becoming, more common, and it's just like, oh, guess they re-released this on DVD. Really? I'll go get that. And then so it's just and it's a movie that unless you had it on VHS, you didn't see it because they stopped showing it on television years and years and years ago. So it's just you would randomly catch it. If you were lucky, on Cartoon Network or something. But then the DVDs came out, and that kind of resurged everybody's interest in it, and then that's how you got all the nostalgia. So we can kind of, I guess, you kind of have to thank technology for it. The jump in technology is what got everybody back to it. People that when for the first time seeing it was on DVD, you would have had to have an older brother, or cousin, or uncle, or someone that said, no, this is a good movie, you got to check this out. Versus people that were kids at that time that knew all about it, So that's how it kind of got that cult following. It's just everybody my age was just no, I'm buying this shit on DVD right now. So,
Jesse, you there? Oh, I thought he froze up.
Did I freeze? Can you hear me?
No, yeah.
No, we can hear you.
Okay. Scotty said they were killing our faves just to make new toys.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, no one at the time. I mean, little kids didn't get that, and that was the thing. Like, if you watch some of the extras, the bonuses when they talk about it, like all those guys had kids like that were young at that point, and the kids loved this stuff. So, you know, they had to go home and explain to their kids like why they did what they did. And then I think it was like one of the producers was like, I had to tell my kid that I killed. Like, he wouldn't talk to me for a week because I told him we killed them off to make new toys, and then he was mad at him for like a while because of that. But and then they didn't make the same mistake again with the G.I. Joe movie. Like, Duke has a moment where he, you know, you think he's going to die basically because Serpentor hits him right in the heart with a snake. And what they did is at the very last second of the movie, like, Duke's gonna pull through. He's doing great, folks. He's gonna be back, and you know, and so people say, oh, he's not dead. Oh, good. You know, just because I mean, they could have easily went ahead and just killed off a bunch of G.I. Joes. I mean, even in that movie, vehicles like blew up. Like, I mean, it was like one shot, and all of a sudden the whole vehicle exploded. Like, what the hell? And people are getting like, you know, just people were getting like knocked out and beat around pretty good in that movie. So it's just like, you know, it had kind of that same feel to it. But you know, they definitely were all about the toys just because that's what was going to sell, and they were hoping that would, you know, and really like the later on episodes of Transformers after that kind of suffered with those new characters because people still wanted to see the old characters. They ended up bringing a bunch of them back in different ways and forms.
Yeah. Well, the last 2 seasons got pretty much flushed down the toilet because nobody really cared much about it after that movie.
But if you look at and again, not to turn to Transformers out, but if you look at like the toys at that point, I mean, they have put so many toys out, man. You couldn't keep up with all of it. I mean, there's toys, there's Transformers robots that came out that never saw the light of day just because the show didn't last long enough to show up. I mean, but there's so many toys. Like if you collected Transformers and you were lucky enough to have all of them, I mean, the last few years they were just pumping them out to like this guy and that one, and you know, just foolish combinations and combiners and headmasters and all types of stuff. They would just kind of throw at you just to, you know, sell new toys. Same thing with not Superman, He-Man. They did that too. I mean, He-Man had a ton of different toys. So, and if you're curious about this type of stuff, you can watch a documentary called "The Toys That Made Us." I think it's called.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. They were talking about Sergeant Slaughter. He was obviously based on the WF guy, but he was the figure himself. The character was based on the refrigerator, William the Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah, right? It was a mail away.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of like parlayed that into a wrestling persona.
Yeah, you know what?
That was kind of like the original.
Because he stomped out the Patriots.
Yeah. Whoa, the Bears. Yeah. But yeah, that's a pretty cool documentary. I know I've talked about it in the past. I don't know if you saw much of season 2, but
I haven't yet. I gotta watch it because there's so many good toys that's on there.
Yeah,
like, I watched the first season was great. Watched all of them except for Bobby, and I think was Hello Kitty on the first season or was Hello Kitty on the second season?
I want to say second.
Yeah, because I know I didn't watch the Bobby one. I was like, nope, I'm not watching that.
Yeah, that's the only one I didn't watch too.
Well, the Barbie one was actually pretty interesting.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure it was just
the first one.
I mean, I watched it because my wife was watching it with me, and I didn't want to just like, you know, bogart the TV.
Like, I knew I didn't have any interest. Like, there was nothing that's gonna hold my interest. Like, oh, and Bobby was from the '50s. We tried to. I'm like, I don't care. I'd rather watch The Simpsons talk about Malibu Stacy and that origin than Bobby. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great documentary though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Rocky Balboa was the G.I. Joe too. I forgot about that.
Rocky Balboa. See what I did there. Okay, so movies. We're talking about movies. We've known this for a while. And I think it was like a year ago that it was first announced that they wanted to do other. Okay, so I'm talking about Sony. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Sony is obviously trying to figure out what to do with the Spider-Man properties. They have Spider-Man. He's kind of like loosely tied to the MCU right now. We're in it. But they're trying to kind of get away from that contract and do other things and kind of spin out that success. Obviously, we're getting Venom. We talked about like Silver and Black and a bunch of others. One of the ones that they announced way back when, and like I said, a year ago, was a movie based on Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah.
That's been in the works for a while. Obviously, a lot of this is kind of dependent upon how well Venom does or doesn't do.
Mhm.
But they've actually found a writer for the movie now. So that's pretty serious where they start attaching names to these things. It's not just like a concept that they announced. So it's Richard Wenk, who's the writer. I'm sure you guys don't know who he did, but he did The Expendables 2, The Mechanic, one of the Jack Reacher films with Tom Cruise. 16 Blocks is another one. So you can kind of see like his style.
Action.
Exactly.
So he's gonna be that means that movie's gonna be kind of a DACA movie if that's the case, because Expendables not so much, but some of the other ones that you mentioned, those get kind of gritty and dark. And I mean, I guess if you're gonna do Kraven, I mean, it's a good way to go with it, I guess. Was it Stay Puft went ahead and said, do we really need a Kraven the Hunter movie?
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way: we may not need it necessarily. But I mean, if they decide you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. I think you would be better off having that than a Morbius movie, because a Morbius movie is just kind of unless you're going full horror, it's gonna be a very strange movie to watch.
Yeah, and all these movies, and Venom included, it's how do you do this without Spider-Man? Spider-Man, Kraven's a hunter, right? He's going after big games. Spider-Man was always like the biggest game that you could never get. Exactly. So what's he gonna do? Like, what's his motivation for this if not that? And I've always, we've always said that about with like I said, all these movies. Venom. Like, how do you do Venom without Spider-Man in it? But I guess they are, right? They're doing Lethal Protector and Ultimate combined, but still, it's like I don't know how that's gonna work.
Well, thanks to Spider-Verse and the clone Spider-Man, I mean, you got probably 20 different Spider-Man that you could use. Yeah. Although I don't know how that would affect the contract with Disney, because I heard that contract affected, was the reason why Venom didn't get the white spider on his chest, which I think is completely wrong. So it almost makes me think like, even though you have 20 other Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Ham, and Ben Reilly and whoever, it's almost like even if they could use them, their contract with Disney might be like, yeah, but you can't have a spider on their chest or something stupid like that.
Well, I mean,
yeah, and he's got like the weird like white veins all through him, right? And I guess like they didn't do that, but they had to put something on him because it looks like a pretty dark movie. You can't just have like this like black suited guy and like in the nighttime, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they got to put something on him for like texture and like so you can tell that's actually a person there. Otherwise, it's like a black blob.
Yeah, and I forget, does the Venom in the Ultimate Universe have the white spider on his chest with Miles Morales?
Not sure.
I can't remember.
I think it does.
But he plays a role in the Ultimate Universe.
The Ultimate Universe wasn't Miles Morales until the very end. It was still Peter Parker. So I don't know. I didn't read a ton of that.
Yeah.
But I think that, I mean, what it comes down to is that I think at some point Sony may end up needing to make a merger type deal with Marvel, or either that or just keep making movies in conjunction with them. At least the Spider-Man stuff. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, forward with it. But I mean, right now, Venom is kind of a measuring stick to see what these other ones are going to do. Because I mean, Silver and Black, it seems like another weird movie. Like I don't know. Even if you had Silver Sable and Black Cat team up, it's still just it's out of character for the both of them. I think in a way, because it's just like, I mean, they would be loose allies at best. Like they would not be good friends. They wouldn't be someone that you would depend on. It would just be kind of like, all right, we're gonna rob this big embassy or something like that. Okay, cool. Here's your cut. Don't stiff me like you did last time. All right, bye bye. Like it would be a really, really strange dynamic. So
that movie, I would much rather Silver Sable as a mercenary hired to track down the jewel thief, who's going around stealing stuff. So
yeah, I mean, you could have it like that. I think, but I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Those movies are very, very tough to gauge, just because the fact is, they don't have Spider-Man. There's no tie to Spider-Man, but there's, I mean, especially Black Cat. I mean, Felicia Hardy and Spider-Man are very good friends in the comics. You know what I mean? It's just like, it makes no sense to not have them at least in some way, shape, or form interact. And it's just like, you know, for me, it's a really, really, really hard sell to get people in there and excited about something like that, because it's like, what is this even like? I would love to at least have someone pitch it to me, like, what's this even about? How's this going to work? How do you not have Spider-Man involved? But I mean, they're determined to put it out there and see if they can make some money with it. And maybe that is the last few. I mean, maybe that's their last shot at trying to make some money off of Marvel stuff without having to have, you know, Disney and Marvel involved. Just because the fact is, you know, they're not going to be able to do it on their own, because, you know, like everyone was saying, like Disney could just sit there and be like, can't use that logo. You're gonna have to find some other way to make this costume work because that's too close to what we want to have it do. So it's all crazy. I figure even if they got them to the table to renegotiate the contract so that, like, you know, maybe it's, you know, you just have like a free use clause or act where it's like, yeah, you can use these characters. You know, we'll license certain things out to you when we feel the need, but you know, if we have a movie that we want to use these characters in, you know, we want to be able to bring them over so we can actually put them in and make them the way we want them. You know, exactly. It's a really, really weird thing that's going on with that. So, you know, hopefully it's good. Hopefully, you know, I would just rather see them, you know, make some titles. They like stay with some characters that don't have to necessarily be Spider-Man, you know, villains, but just characters that, you know, maybe you have rights to because they're, you know, linked to Spider-Man or other properties. Like, were they the ones that made Blade or no?
It was New Line.
New Line.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It was New Line. That's right.
And I'm gonna assume that, like, that's probably reverted back to Marvel at this point.
Well, let's look at this, because New Line Blade was a rated R film.
Yeah.
And I think that, okay, let's say Blade was never made. Us comic book fans looking at it now, we could probably say, oh, you know, you could never have a Blade standalone movie without, you know, I don't know, Ghost Rider or Morbius or Dracula or something like that. And I think that they proved us wrong that they could make a standalone film. And I think it's, in a way, I think it's kind of contingent on their R rating, because you can kind of, you know, you're breaking that fourth wall. You can just do whatever you want. Well, but us as nerds, we think like, oh, dude, how could you do this without Spider-Man being involved? We know that. But the audience that they're trying to target, they don't know that. So therefore, they can just kind of do almost anything that they want with it.
Well, I think what it comes down to, like, with that one, because Blade's a more obscure and ambiguous character that you can kind of get away from that, and it's just like all you have to do is just explain his origin. Really, I mean, something like Venom, like people. I mean, like, if you look at Venom as far as the character, I mean, that's a hard sell away from Spider-Man, because just like, how do you even have this thing? How do you have? I mean, because the symbiote's whole motivation after you know, Peter Parker, you know, broke away from it, was to kill Peter Parker for rejecting it. Like, that was its whole, you know what I mean? And then Eddie Brock had a beef with Peter Parker, so it's like they got together and they're like, oh, like, I'm gonna kill the shit out of this guy because.
That's true. That's true. But if you remember Venom Lethal Protector, he started to direct his attention a little bit away from Spider-Man at that time.
Well, yeah, because he had been around for a couple of years. He's like, I don't have to be with you anymore. It's good. Like he had time for closure, and I understand that, like, you know, they're not going that route with it. But like, just kind of trying to make the point of that, like, you know, Blade and you know, these movies are kind of two different animals altogether. Like, Blade was just something that you could put out there, and, you know, unless you were like seriously, you know, big into comics or something like that, like, you probably wouldn't complain. I don't think it was necessarily R rating. I think it was that they kept it horror genre. Like, it was basically, I mean, because you put on New Line, which is a horror studio, and so horror, you know, like, that's what that came from. That's why, like, if you're gonna make Morbius, you can go that way with it. I have no problem with that, you know, at all. If you're gonna keep it just like a really horror driven movie, great. But outside of that, though, like, what do you do? Like, if they took the time to, you know, if they took the time to make it something where, you know, have all these elements from of the supernatural going on, perfectly fine. I can see that movie working. But if it's just like, you know, he's a vampire living in our world, and it's not going to work. Not at all.
Well, I think Venom's going to be a good test run to see what they can and can't do. And I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on the trailer, but the last trailer, I was actually a little bit more impressed. I know we all kind of said that, oh, we don't have no faith in this Venom movie. It's gonna bomb, and so it's Sony's doing it's gonna suck. And I was actually pretty impressed. I mean, I really was. And I also found out that Tom Hardy is also doing the voice of Venom.
Yeah, no,
So-
I knew that as soon as I heard him.
Yeah.
You didn't?
That's gonna be one of the Achilles, because honestly, like a lot of people are saying that, like, I can't take that voice in the trailer. How am I gonna sit there and listen to that for 2 hours?
I can't take his Eddie Brock voice. He talks a little like really weak sounding. I don't know. It's weird. I like the trailer, but that joke at the end was a little cringy. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that were just like, his pancreas, so many snacks for Venom. And I was like, what the hell? I went back and listened. I was like, that's okay. Like, they're trying to make Venom all like, crazy and disgusting, but it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, who knows, like, where it's gonna go with it? I think that them showing other symbiotes and showing who's actually gonna end up fighting makes some sense. But then again, it's just, they're going out of their way to make him anti-hero, to make him almost evil, as well. It's just like, at some point, I guess they're gonna have to have a moment where, Eddie Brock and Venom both kind of like come together and like, all right, look, we're gonna work for the people. We're gonna hurt these bad people, kind of like a Boondock Saints moment, where it's just like, we're gonna punish the bad. We're gonna do bad things, but we're gonna do it to bad people, and we're gonna help innocent people, and it won't be a problem.
And that's when he becomes the lethal protector.
Yeah.
At that point,
So,
yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, because I'm sure for it may not be. It's definitely not going to be some huge. I mean, it could surprise people and be very good. I think it's going to be decent. I don't think it's going to be anything that you're going to be like, oh my god, like I can't wait for Venom Part 2. I just think that it's going to be something where it's watchable. It's not too bad, and for the time being, if there's nothing else out in the theater, yeah, it's a fun one to watch. Why not?
Right. Here's my prediction. Two scenarios here. So first of all, Sony's been struggling for a while. That's kind of one of the reasons why this whole collaboration with Marvel came about, right? So if the movie does well, people like it, it'll kind of change that narrative, and they'll start pushing out some of these movies a lot more, right? They'll continue along with these, the Kraven, the Silver and the Black, whatever else. Yep. If it does bad, I think what we'll see in maybe 2019, maybe even early 2020, is what we saw with Fox and Disney.
Yeah.
I think that they might try to sell that off to try to get some of that money back and just kind of be done with that. Because I know that Amy Pascal was one of the big ones that was against it. Like, she basically threw Kevin Feige out of her office one time when he went in to be like, hey, we'll buy this from you. She basically... She said, get the F out of my office, and like threw something on it, but that's kind of when they went back to the drawing board. They came up with, okay, instead of buying it, we'll do a collaboration. We'll help out. No money will exchange hands. And you guys all know that story. So I think that will be revisited if Venom does bad.
Yeah. I don't think it'll do bad. I think it's just gonna, I mean, the thing about that too is, what kind of threshold do they have? Because putting Venom on screen is going to cost a lot of money. There's going to be having him change back and forth. That's all expensive. So, I mean, maybe not bad in terms of it was a bad movie, but like if it doesn't do the numbers,
I'm talking financially.
Yeah. Oh, financially, I can see that. I could see a lot of I could see a lot of people, maybe not wanting to just hop to the theaters for this, because I know some people have that attitude where it's like, Venom movie sounds cool. Not really into it. I'll wait till it comes out on DVD, or I'll wait till it comes on television. Mm-hmm. So if that's the attitude people have with it, that's not good.
Yeah, I want to read a Poor Man's Comics comment. He says, no matter how good or bad the Venom movie will be, one thing will be for sure: Hardy will always be a better Venom than Topher Grace.
That's true.
I agree with that. I don't think anybody can deny that. Yeah. He was Tat says he was great in what? In that 70s show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So
well, the trailer's got almost 20 million views in 2 days. And all the big YouTubers, the most recent one, all the big YouTubers are talking about it. They're talking about how they love it. They're excited to see it from I forget his name, the guy who does the movies. But anyways, I just think that there's going to be a lot of people who's going to see it. I think obviously we're criticizing it because we know Venom probably better than the average moviegoer. But I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. I would be curious to know what the budget is, because I think Chris might be right. Like they might be trying to keep it at a certain budget because they don't know how it's going to go. You know, I would have to assume that 80 to 85 mil would probably be the max for the budget on this film. That's just my guess.
I mean, you might be surprised because, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
because Deadpool was like 60, 65.
Huh?
Because Deadpool was like 60 or 65. I don't think Venom could be much more than that.
It depends because they also have you know, multiple symbiotes. So I mean, if you're gonna show that on screen, I mean, because I mean, and the reason why I go back to that is I remember when the Fantastic Four the Silver Surfer one came out, and I was pissed off that there was no Galactus and this and that. And a friend of mine that I work with was like, dude, he's like, you gotta remember though, how much money do you think it costs to put Silver Surfer on screen, like to actually get him in scenes and to, you know, put that CGI all together. So that's why I always go back to that, because it's like, you know, that's one thing you have to factor in is how much money they're throwing down to get that going. So I mean, if they put an $85 million budget on it, or 65, whatever it is, I mean, they still have to, you know, pull out a lot of money to at least consider doing more with it. I mean, because I mean, let's say it only makes 40 million, and your budget was 85 million. Like, you know, you have to do something to figure. I mean, you're not going to go ahead and just, you know, progress on. You probably won't progress on forward with so many ideas and movies that you had. You'd be like, all right, we're gonna give this one more shot and hope that this works, because, you know, we need a sleeper hit. Like, we need, like, you know, like a Guardians of the Galaxy or something that, like, you know, no one expected to like blow up and be good, to you know, come out and do that. Like, or we need like a Deadpool where, you know, we didn't expect this to do as good as it did. So we'll see what happens. And I don't think that an R rating is necessarily key to it. I think that really it's just, you know, if they have a solid enough story and if it works well together. Because I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be really, really good. And it's just one of those things where we're skeptical because of the fact that we can't see everything put together at once. But when we do, maybe it's amazing. So who knows?
Yeah. So I'm not finding any official, you know, budget numbers just yet. They'll probably release that eventually, but it's looking like it could be like 40 to 50 million. Very modest budget.
That low?
Yeah. The biggest thing here is the CGI, of course.
Yeah. And it's funny because Chris brings it up. He's right. A lot of that, it's CGI heavy, but movies always get the lowest bidding, the lowest bidder when it comes to CGI. They're not going to spend, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars on.
Well, the thing is,
you know, top-notch CGI.
Well, when it comes to certain stuff, because that's where, in a way, I can understand that, but you do have to be careful because of the fact that a lot of times when you have somebody who's coming in and bidding low, like, oh yeah, we'll do it for this much. A lot of times you get horror stories that come back out of it, and it's trouble. Just like that movie, Sausage Party, I think it was.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't see it.
I mean, well, I mean, it's a, you know, just like CGI cartoon, like raunchy cartoon movie. But as they were doing it, like after the movie, you know, came out and everything, like I mean, all the stories that are coming out about, like, you know, just the mistreatment of workers and all this crazy stuff, and that studio basically had to shut down because of the fact that there was so much, you know, just negative that came from how they had to work and how hard they were being forced to work, and just the conditions breaking down, that like people like were thinking about like pressing charges against the company because it was like that bad. So, you know, in that way, it's just like, you know, as much as people are like, oh, we'll go with the lowest, but you kind of do have to, you do have to kind of spend that money if you want it to be successful, because if something like that happens where you have a studio that's just like, you know, no, the conditions for working were bad, like people were like, you know, left, like, you know, with nervous breakdowns because of how much work they're being forced to do and all this, that'll kill everything. Like Sony will be in a lot of hot water.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of hot water,
oh yeah,
James Gunn. I know we talked about him. If you want a pretty good in-depth conversation on our thoughts and stuff like that, check out the last Super Talk. We really dove pretty deep into it, and should he be rehired or not. One of the few of the folks, I should say, who do want him rehired are actually the cast. They wrote this open letter here to Disney, basically saying, like, you know, we worked with him. He's a friend of ours. You know, we know him and love him. He did great. People make mistakes. What about forgiveness? What about redemption? Things like that. So they wrote this whole thing out, and they're talking about court of public opinion. But the interesting thing in this case is how divided it is, and that there was so much support for him, even though he made these mistakes. So this was pretty much, it was actually, I'll scroll down, signed by the whole primary cast. So you had Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Zoe, Vin Diesel, Sean Gunn, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Michael Rooker, and Pom Klementieff. So most of the cast there. Pretty impactful that they did it. They pretty much said everything except if you don't hire him back, we won't do the next movie. Right?
They probably can't. I mean, as much as you would hope to have that kind of clout today. Look, you can't make this movie without me. Like, what are you gonna do it on style of? What are you gonna do it without?
You know what? They're under contract.
Contracts.
They're under contract. Exactly. They could say no, but they'll be fine. They'll throw the contract at them and say, you know what, this is,
I mean, as far as all that, like what I can say, without really delving too deep into it, is just that, I think that it does show a lot of where we come from with this type of thing, where it's just like, you have social media really just kind of being, just this. I mean, it's a platform for anybody and all the rest of it, and it's great. I mean, without it, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now. But there's a lot of it is that it can now be almost weaponized against you, and then the fact that like people want to kind of go with no statute of limitations on like, well, this dude said this like all this time ago, and it's just like, yeah, well, okay, he said that, but then the difference, because a lot of people, will bring up the whole Roseanne thing and all that, and without getting ultra political or anything like that, I mean, the difference between the two, at least that this is my opinion, the difference between the two when it comes down to it is that James Gunn said that stuff, like a decade ago, something like that, like a long time ago. He went and apologized for it, and went ahead and made amends for it. She literally said that shit like 3 weeks ago. She said it like, and has been saying that stuff recently. So that's the difference. It's not like she said it like 15 years ago and was just like, I said I've moved past this. That's not me anymore.
So these tweets that Gunn did, you're saying that these were a long time ago? These tweets?
These were a decade ago.
Yeah. And what happened was
he was already called out on it at the time, and he already apologized for it.
And so what happened was just somebody went and brought it back up again, and Disney, being the company that they are, was kind of forced into a corner where it's just like, we're family friendly. This is what supposedly he said. Like, we gotta let him go. And that's what happened, and that's why these guys were just like, but you guys knew about this, prior and all the rest of it. So, it's really not fair that this is happening to James Gunn, and a lot of it, I mean, you can just go on. You can go on to YouTube. You can go on anywhere and kind of hear both sides and what people are saying and how everyone feels about what's going on. I just think that where I say it, like, without taking a side about it, the only thing that people need to be worried about is, and I know that it's not, but us, it's not something that we would never have to really deal with anything like that specifically, like in this type of way. But the difference being is just that we, as far as people, like, they're celebrities, they can they're in the public eye and everything that, but us, when you see social media cases like that come up, where it's relentless stuff like this, it's usually when it comes to like kids and bullying and stuff like that. And it's just like, I remember a case up here about, I think it was like four or so years ago, where there was a girl. She was young. She was maybe, I think, like 13, 14 years old. And she was new to a school. And, this kid that was going out with some girl who didn't like her, like, saw her and said, "Oh, she looks really pretty today." And these girls, this girl rallied her friends around, and they just, just blitzed her over and over relentlessly to the point where she killed herself. And it's just like, I mean, and we see it with different things about it. And it's just like, there has to be, I think at least, there's got to be some type of like, some type of just balance, and there has to be some type of really restrictions on what can be done and said and how things move, just because it's just so venomous. No matter how you look at it, no matter if anybody has a problem with you, it's just like, pitchforks and torches and let's, it's just like everything needs to kind of just simmer down, I think. And I think that what happens is that everybody, kind of wants to just take a side initially right away. And it's just like, people don't really see how just, really, like I said before, just venomous the whole thing is. It's just like, I think, right now you're seeing, the ugly side of what social media can be. I mean, it can bring everybody together, but it can also bring down a lot of heat when done in the wrong way. So I think it's a lesson to all of us right now. I think, and really how to conduct yourself, and that there does need to be some type of rules and regulations as to like, how you do things and what you go about, regardless of free speech and all of it. Like, there's got to be some kind of accountability.
Yeah, exactly. People are very quick to, I don't know how to say it, but be told what to think.
Yeah.
Without doing research or thinking on their own. And that eagerness just to be kind of like told what to think is what they're weaponizing to go after people.
Exactly. I mean, you see it even in smaller things where it's just like, or not in the same way, where it's just like, what was it? The Rotten Tomatoes thing, which is like, oh, we're gonna go ahead and just give this thing 1 million, give it as many negative views, we're gonna put the Rotten Tomato score down as far as you can to try to sink this movie. It's just like, and people go along with it, just be like you said, they want to be told what to think type deal. It's just like, think for yourself, and honestly too, just understand what it is that you're kind of trying to get yourself into. I think that a lot of that is just
research.
I just really think that it's just so much like just kind of, just blind leading blind type deal. And there is one person that's ahead of it all that knows what they're doing, that wants to, kind of steer it this way. But it's like that, everybody just needs to kind of just calm down and just remember, like, these platforms aren't supposed to be used to destroy somebody. It's just supposed to be a way that you can kind of get out, how you're feeling or just different stuff. And, it should be used for positivity and to bring people together, not to divide and hurt people.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, that was a good conversation on that. I don't want to get too deep into it, But I think that despite whatever you believe one side or the other, I think Disney's perspective on it is that James Gunn is not rehireable at this point in time. So I don't think you'll see him coming back to it. However, I do think that another studio might pick him up. Somebody that's not Disney, that has a different demographic as their core base, right?
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And a lot of people have said this, but I think that Gunn would be a very good fit for a Green Lantern core movie. It's a space movie.
Yeah.
If you do like a Hal Jordan kind of like jokey thing, it still kind of fits with that, the whole look and feel that he did with. And I know he wouldn't want to do exactly, but he could do something very similar with Hal Jordan or something like that, So
I could see that too, and I mean, he could, and this could be a very long shot, but who knows if he ends up in the Extreme universe doing some of that stuff for Liefeld. I mean, and honestly, I mean, if you're smart, like if they wanted to really legitimize it, they could have someone like him come along. I mean, if they, depending on what they're gonna do. I mean, I don't know if like a Wildcats or something like that would be something that he would be, or like no, I'm saying
Youngblood,
huh?
Youngblood. Yeah.
I don't know if Youngblood would be like his style, but I mean, who knows? Who knows with something like that? But I mean, yeah, Green Lantern seems like it'd be a great. I mean, I mean that's like the I guess next legitimate I mean step. I mean, if I was him, that's what I would say. Like, look,
right.
You have a sci-fi based thing. I'm great at these type of things, so let's do it.
Exactly. So, and we talked about our potential replacement at the time too on Super Talk.
Yep.
We're talking about the Russos, but their schedule is very busy right now, so they probably won't be able to.
Yep.
J.J. Abrams is busy too. So the next potential, the best case there would be Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok, Thor 3. His schedule, his slate is pretty much open, but we're talking about kind of matching the look and feel. He's got the spacey, jokey thing going on with Ragnarok that he could very easily apply to, that movie. So, and I know that Gunn was already working on a script, which is basically Disney's property. so he could take whatever that skeleton of that script was. I'm sure he has a broad outline and they'd have to have it fit like the overall narrative of the MCU, right? So we'd have to go through Feige for that. So it wouldn't be too crazy to think that Taika Waititi might take that spot. And that's just pure speculation, but
yeah,
you know.
I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
So we're talking about casting.
Yep.
Directors, but they did reveal the cast officially for Star Wars Episode 9. I know we kind of teased we're going to talk about this, and there's some surprises here. Luke's going to be back. He's reprising his role as what's his name? No, Luke Skywalker. So he's coming back. Yeah, J.J. Abrams obviously is back after a one movie break. Daisy Ridley's back. You know, Adam Driver, obviously, John Boyega, and Lupita and everybody. Lupita was Maz in the first one, in the second one too, actually. There's some new people. Anthony Daniels will be back. So a couple big ones are, we talked about this a couple shows ago, but Billy D. Williams will be coming back as Lando. That's right, Lando. And I mentioned Maz on purpose because what I hear is that there is a connection between Lando and Maz. And you might learn how Maz Kanata ended up with Luke's lightsaber in her castle, right? Big question about that. Right. So maybe he went back, he was in Bespin, he went back and found it, you know, hooked up with her and gave it to her for safekeeping. Something like that.
Yeah, because Luke lost it in Cloud City, right?
Right context of hooked up, because I don't want
to. yeah, I don't know.
It was real smooth. Like, oh, I hear that there's a weapon that you have been desiring.
My lightsaber. Yeah. John Williams is back. We originally thought that he would not be doing the score for this movie. But we talked about that. He's not doing it. It was a big thing. But he's actually coming back. So that's pretty cool. And that will mean that he has scored every single movie of the Star Wars saga, like the main ones, right? So that's pretty cool. And now the big one that everybody's kind of like confused about, I guess. I'm going to use the word confused loosely there. But Leia, Carrie Fisher. So obviously she passed away. You know, how are they going to do it? Like what? So what they're saying is that they're going to be using previously unreleased footage. So that they obviously had her for The Force Awakens. What happens with a movie is they shoot tons of stuff. A lot of that gets cut and edited out.
And The Last Jedi also, right?
As far as I know, it'll just be for The Force Awakens because it's J.J. Abrams stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So my question about this is, how is that scenes, and it's probably like really generic stuff, going to fit the plot and the narrative of Episode 9, right? So it has to be like really generic stuff. But I do have a quote here. It's from J.J. Abrams. He says, "We desperately loved Carrie Fisher. Finding a truly satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga without her eluded us. We were never going to recast or use a CG character. With the support and blessing from her daughter, Billy Lord, we have found a way to honor Carrie's legacy and role as Leia in Episode 9 by using unseen footage we shot together 7. So there you go. So I'm very curious how that will all play out.
She's not going to be in it much, though. She can't be.
Yeah.
I mean, The Last Jedi, she wasn't in it hardly at all. So I would think that she would have probably the same amount of screen time or less.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just like
the original intent, because JJ was supposed to do the all 3 of the movies. Like each of the big people were going to get like their own movie. So like Han had his movie. Luke had Last Jedi. This movie was supposed to be kind of like Leia's movie. So they're like that's why we're really like pushing, going out of their way to find a way to include her. Was because that was kind of like supposed to be her, like, you know, revolving around her type of thing. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, and it's gonna be the last one. So they have a lot of things to do with this movie. It's very important for that, and then setting up, of course, what happens after that. You know.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I know. I'll go ahead.
I'm with you on that. I really am curious to see how they're gonna do that, like using old footage, and it's just like, so it's almost like a super reshoot where it's just like, okay, so now we gotta kind of shoot this in a way that it makes sense for this movie, even though it's not quite the same context.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope they don't just do something where it's just like, I have to go now, and all of a sudden she's just in a ship and it, blows up. You know what I mean? It's just
exactly.
something where, they just kill her off because I mean, if they're gonna end up killing her off, you know what I mean? She at least should have the screen time to do it. Unfortunately, she doesn't because she's gone. But I mean, that at least is something fitting. But who knows? I mean, like, they're gonna have to figure something out. In order to make sure that goes well. I mean, I don't think that. I personally, with the circumstances being what they are, I don't see it as this big sacrilegious, horrible thing if they were to go ahead and look, we have to recast her just for this movie, or we have to put somebody there to be as her, but just we'll CG the face and whatever, and try to make it as close as possible. That I can understand and see, and I think that would have been appropriate given the circumstances. But
well, they got the blessing from her daughter to do this.
Yeah. So I mean, and JJ must have something that he can put together and make sense with, because I mean, for him to just be just a bunch of random scenes that really have nothing to do with what's going on doesn't make sense. So I mean, it's got to be some stuff where it's I went back through the footage. We can make a movie with her like this and still accomplish our goal with it. So and
they have a way to they can have her and her movements and take her out and put her on a different background. So even though she's not CG, they can do the rest of it CG around her.
Yeah, or a lot of maybe back shots, like you see the back of her, but it's actually somebody else, or
exactly
like that. I always thought that they did a good job with Fast and the Furious with Paul Walker when he they CGI'd the crap out of him over, I guess, his brother or whatever, and then just his whole send off. All it was just him going left on a different road from Vin Diesel.
Yeah, they just
off in the sunset. Yeah,
with that song.
Which has freaking 3 billion views on YouTube.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we'll definitely be following this whole story very closely, and it's particularly relevant because the movie starts shooting tomorrow, Friday, in Pinewood Studios, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that place.
Nope.
But that's where they're shooting it. It's in London. So as things come out, I'm sure once now that it is starting filming, they started August 1st, actually yesterday. We'll hear more stuff about it. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. And that's no. You read a book that you wanted to talk about briefly. Edwin read a book by John Layman.
Read a book. Just real quick, I guess we didn't really have time to figure out what we were going to talk about. So, the only thing I read was Leviathan, and really the reason why I read this is because, just as a born again Christian, I kind of know what Leviathan is about in the Bible. It's just, I think the book is more like a reference to the character, one of the dragons or sea monsters that God had created in the Bible. But it was actually an okay read. Nick Patera, who did, what did you say, the Manhattan Project?
Yep, Manhattan Projects.
He did the artwork in this one, and because I didn't know who it was, and so I started looking, I was like, oh, it looks really familiar, and then I saw, it was Nick Patera, and it's fun. It's quirky artwork. It's violent. But it was a pretty quick read. What kind of happens is there's this guy and this girl, and they're just boyfriend and girlfriend. They're kind of one is waiting for the other, and while they're waiting them to go do a beer run, their friends kind of do this type of Ouija board type of thing where they conjure up this dragon out of the ground. and it just starts killing everything like Godzilla. And even some of the death scenes were actually pretty humorous. So it's like violent and bloody, but yet you could tell that through the story it's meant to be funny as well. And I always tell people to kind of like pay attention to like some of the background objects, and like even the guy when he opens up his refrigerator, you know, pay attention to the milk carton and just some of the different some of the different names and how they kind of do this whole thing. But as far as the book, it was okay. I mean, it's got a whole crap ton of detail in the artwork because that's just how Nick Patera is when he draws. Is it something that I'll continue to get? Probably not. I just wanted to read it and check it out. It was kind of a funny read, and but I don't know. If anybody else gets it, let me know what you think about it. It definitely leaves a cliffhanger at the end and encourages, continued reading. But it was just a quick, fun read for me.
All right, cool. What do you give it as a rating?
A 3 out of 5, kind of average.
Okay.
Maybe slightly above average, but that's about it.
That's not bad.
Nah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I guess what do you got coming up on your channel? Anything you want to plug? Anything going on in the near future?
I think I said this last week. I got a haul video. I didn't get it up yet. I think I might just throw up a haul video regardless of what day it's on. So that's pretty much all that I got. It's actually funny because I actually have 5 other videos that I've already done.
Yeah.
I just haven't edited them and uploaded them yet. So that's really the only thing. But outside of that, man, I'm honestly just pressing and selling books because I'm trying to save and get ready for Dragon Con because I'm going to need some money. And I do plan on, I know I'm going to get with you guys on Friday, but Thursday when I go, I plan on hitting them long boxes and doing some digging and see what I can find, because when I go, a lot of people are going to be at work.
That's
so
right.
Trying to give me some good finds, man.
Get first crack at those.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Nice. All right, cool. How about you, Chris? What you got coming up?
For me, I am gonna be I guess so this week into next week I'm gonna be trying to get my books together that I want to get signed and everything for Boston Fan Expo. And speaking of, so I keep calling it Boston Comic Con just because that's what it's been called for like ever, and then they switched the name over last year. And it's with good reason, I guess, because I picked this up at my shop, and this is the brochure for it. And I've been saying a little bit that I was kind of, concerned about it and everything, just because if you look, it shows Jim Lee all big, and then on the bottom, that's not comic people. That's all celebrities. So, and they talk about all the celebrities, and go ahead and take a look here, and so the inside, you're like, all right, inside will have some stuff. Nope. The inside, the first 3 pages basically is all celebrities, right? And then we have some voice actors, and then YouTubers, cosplayers. YouTube is getting more press than the actual comic creators, and then we actually get the comic creators itself. It's the back of it, the last 2 panels. So you have the big names here, and then this where you have to actually have glasses to see is the people that are going to be there attending. So it's just like Fan Expo is kind of crazy how they are doing this, where it's just like if you have something called Fan Expo, I think you gotta kind of watch what they're doing, because they're pushing the comics way to the back, and it's kind of crazy because it's like you look at you would figure some of these names would be bigger, that they would feature, like Neil Adams is one of these guys just kind of just thrown to the side here.
You got John Byrne on there.
Yeah, you got John Byrne. Bob McLeod is like in this mess of names down here. Bob McLeod, you know what I mean? Marvel Graphic Novel 4 is him. Like the New Mutants came out, like he did that.
He shouldn't be in the him too category.
Exactly.
To us he shouldn't be, but he's never really been like big time.
No, but I mean, just in general, it's just like you have people in there that are like like they should be getting more recognition than, at least get that face in the book, but they want to push Jeff Goldblum and Momoa and Brent Spinner. And they want Data to be there front and center. You know, and the thing is, you know, I mean, I'm gonna go there, have fun, and I'm gonna get video and everything like that. So for me, this week is just preparation, but it is kind of disappointing. And Sleepy Reader said it's disappointing to know that, like, you know, for the Fan Expo, they're kind of, you know, phasing out not phasing out, but they're just giving the comics just like kind of the push to the back. And if I like, so I'll try my best to get like to show the floor when I go, just to kind of, you know, look at everything and see what's going on. And because I'm actually curious to see what they did, because last year all the comic items were kind of in the back of the building, in this little corner. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do the same thing again and like push them also a back corner and then give, you know, this huge floor space for all the celebrities and stuff. We'll see. You know, it's kind of sad that, you know, voice actors, and I'm not saying that they're not, you know, famous or that they don't deserve, you know, recognition for their craft, but it's just like, you know, I really don't think that Pinky and the Brain, you know what I mean, should be getting, you know, star treatment over, you know, like Tyler Kirkham and other guys like that. So that's just me. That's just my thing. But it's going to be a fun time no matter what. And I'll definitely be, you know, going ahead and showing that off. That's next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I have a week to prepare and get myself together and kind of figure out who I'm going to see, who I'm not going to see, and then also figure out who's charging for what and all the rest of it. So I have a busy week ahead of me, which is, I mean, mostly just getting all preparation. And then next weekend is going to be just, you know, just a bunch of craziness. Like, I'm pretty sure by Saturday I'm going to be like, this con's killing me, just because, you know, Saturday is always the toughest day, but it should be a good time. And, you know, I think that my strategy may be similar to Edwin's, where it's just like Friday, where most people are, you know, just kind of just figure that the first day is really not anything big. So I might go and try to see if I can score some books, and then spend Saturday getting autographs, and then Sunday, you know, collecting the autographs I didn't get, plus, you know, going ahead and getting some, you know, last second deals, and just kind of, you know, working on the psyche of some of these guys, being like, hey, you don't really want to lug that long box all the way down to, you know, Connecticut for the next show. Don't you want to just, you know, lighten that burden a little bit? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, cool. We'll be watching the channel, seeing what you post up. Be curious what you find and all that. So
definitely check it out. I'm gonna have I mean, I put up my most recent haul video today, so that's up there. But yeah, I'll have a bunch of videos, hopefully, some from inside the con, and definitely stuff I get signed, definitely stuff that I go ahead and pick up. And you know, I may actually, depending on how much time I have beforehand, go ahead and do like a preview of the books that I'm going to try to see if I can get signed and everything. So that's probably going to be my video for the week. So I'm probably not going to stop at my shop this week to get anything, just for the fact that, you know, we're so close to the con. It's just like whatever I miss this week, I can pick up next week. So
yeah, all right, cool.
Yep.
So lot coming up. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so Saturday we have the 5th episode of Super Talk. It's kind of the sister show to this show, but it's open panel, open format. So, you know, Stay Puff, Sleepy Reader, Biggie's, Scotty, everybody in the chat. You could come on the panel itself, and we just chat about, you know, comics and have a good time and just hang out. You know, we used to do that really a lot with the community in the past, where it was just, you know, anybody could come on, we could just talk about it, and that went away for a while. So I was really trying to bring that back with that show. So that's coming up on Saturday. It's bi-weekly, so every other Saturday, and you can find that here 5:30 p.m. on this channel here. Also, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud. So look for us there if you want to stream us, and we're also all over social media. So you can find Boston Chris and Strictly for pressing and comics and everything on, you know, Twitter and Facebook. Just search the names. We pretty much all use the same names everywhere, so it makes it nice and easy for you guys. So
and also
cool.
on Instagram, because I know
that's right.
Everyone's got a presence on Instagram. I am also on Instagram, so you know, check us out where we can find. Justin's on Instagram as well, so, you know.
Beef up your Instagram, Chris, with those pictures from the con, man.
I will have to.
Beef that up.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a bunch of stuff that I need to take pictures of and put up there, and it's just, you know, the move has kind of set me back a little bit. But once I get my time and everything together, like once, like, you know, I would say probably closer to the fall, I'm going to have, a good chance to just kind of settle down and really just, get going on Instagram and try to get everything up to date and caught up. So it's coming.
All right. Cool. All right, guys. Well, that is it for episode 95. We'll be back next week for episode 96, but don't forget to check out all of our channels for all the stuff we post up in the meantime. All right. It's been fun, but have a good night, guys.
Night, everyone.
And girls.